Welcome back. So it's time again to review my AGA City League game. I feel like once a month comes pretty quickly, although you might disagree. So anyway, as I probably mentioned in my last video, our team, the Bay Area, won the last round. So currently we are having 3 wins, as you can see in the league image. And we have played Boston for the first round. And New York team is also doing very well, and Greater Washington, etc., etc. So let me show you my game for the fourth round. My opponent's name, this time I remember, was AGA Liang. Yeah, it was a AGA Liang and I was white. So let's look at the game. If I can switch. Okay. Okay, let's look at the game. As I mentioned, I was white and starting with 2 star points, and I was like that. And these days when my opponent approaches like that, I seem to prefer this 3 space pincer. I don't know why. It seems just a little more comfortable. I used to play more often the closer pincers like this one or even the higher one. But you know, these days people say the AI doesn't like pincer at all because AI seem to really prefer the corner over side. And that kind of made all the pincers kind of less popular. And then, I don't know, but this seemed to be okay. So let's look at the game. So when your opponent pincers with the 3 space, there are a few options for black. The most common one is this knight move, and then often the follow-up goes like this. Another option is to attach over here. This is more old-fashioned Joseki, and then if white comes here, black would do that. Or if white descends this way, then black takes the corner, and then white takes the outside. Yeah, so this is one like Joseki, which is very old. But the actual game, black played here, which is another Joseki variation that's not as common as the other 2. So I played here, and then it goes like this. You don't want to jump here already because black can double Atari here, and then you can't do this because of this cut. You have to come back, and then yeah, this is too good for black. So you might need to do this, and then this exchange is just good for black. So that's why white often pushes once more. And then black often makes this exchange, but this is just a light exchange. I don't think there is much meaning. And then black tenukis. So over here I seem to have 2 choices. The first one was to pincer from this other side, and another one is to play here. So this kicking move is often used when you want to attack the stone on C14. In this case, I don't think white can really attack this group because it's so easy for black to just, make a space like this. But on the other hand, this one is also not attacking because black can just take the corner and then, leave. So either way, I'm not like really trying hard to attack this stone at this point. And something I have in mind is that this black group is pretty strong, although it's not like not without its weak points. You know, I can peep over here or attach over here. There are a few things that I can kind of do to kind of poke around. So I think the main consideration over here was what kind of game I wanted to play. And at that point, what I had in mind was that I wanted to be a little bit territory oriented because I feel a little more comfortable with that, like when I have a little more territory than my opponent. So that was the main consideration. And then when I thought about black taking the corner, even though this gives me somewhat peaceful position on the left side, the corner is pretty big. And then the black's group over here, this is not really attackable. So even if I have a strong position on the left side, there isn't much use for it. And that's why after some thinking, I decided to kick over here. You might wonder if this is okay for this one white stone on C9, because now it seems like it has no eye space, and then like black's getting stronger on both sides. And the reason why I wasn't too worried was that it had the sente moves that I just mentioned before, like the D6 or like F6 or E6, all these things that I can do in sente, they would be very helpful in making kind of the space for me. So that's why I thought it's probably okay. So this is the actual game, and then black continued. It seems a little scary, obviously, because black's strong, but then when you know that your opponent has some weak points, you don't need to worry too much, usually. So I jump out, and then black jumps out, and I jump out. And I noticed that some players, like my husband, is very afraid of making this shape. Usually, the thing that they seem to worry a lot is this kind of peep, either this way or that way. Oh, not this one, that. So there are situations where you really need to pay attention to these weak points, but in this case, you're okay because black also has weak points. So let's see. If black peeps over here, there are a few ways for white to connect to this area. So one thing to remember is that you don't want to be cut off like in the middle like this. Usually you have to decide like which one is okay to lose. In this case, the lighter one that you can lose is the G11 stone. So you do want to connect to this side. And you can connect this way, of course, but then you might be worried that after this cut, you don't know what you can do. So you can also connect this way. And then in this way, like you know what to do because you can just take this one stone. And even though black did cut off the center, you are also getting some territory in the side. And you can probably get sente because black needs another move over here. And this white group on the left side is safe, so you can just go ahead like this. So this is playable strategy for black, I think. But as you can see, it's not the end of the world for white, and that's why you can jump for now. And then you see kind of what happens next. Well, the important thing is that you have to remember that there is this weakness. Because sometimes you think about the cutting points or the weakness, and then you decide, okay, my opponent is not going to cut right now, and then you kind of forget about it and then just continue on. But at any point, your opponent can kind of cut you when situation changes, so you have to keep that in mind. So in the actual game, black jumped because black didn't want to cut right away. And then because I had that weakness in mind, I peeped over here And then when black connected, I pipped again. So you can see that that's kind of already reinforcing the weak points. Black cannot cut anymore. And after this, I tenuked and then jumped over here. Because if black comes around here on h16, that will make my corner really weak. And also black's potential on the upper right side would be so good. Yeah, and then you can see like there's no more cut over here. So let's see, black jumped and then I pipped again. At this point I was thinking, okay, I can probably jump like this, but then black can also come around here. The corner situation is slightly better, but it still has like 3 point open and it's somewhat still weak. I might need another move, although I wouldn't die. On the other hand, black's kinda getting territory-like influence. So the jump on J11 seemed a little slow to me. So that's why I pipped over here, and the idea was that if black connects, I'm going to come around here. And I wanted to have this exchange before I just jump, because let's say I just jump over here and then black might come around here trying to attack this white group. And I wanted to have this pip exchange just in case this doesn't work after black start attacking me. So I pip here and then black decided that connecting seems a little too submissive probably. So pushes, and if I block here, obviously black will be cutting here. So that could have been a very intense fight. I didn't choose this path though. So black can kind of extend, I can push, but then black can hane. And then if I cut, this is going to be ladder. So I can maybe cut here and then black can maybe connect. If I take this one, black can come out. So this whole thing is getting really complicated. You might think this Bunuki seems good, but still because black's kind of penetrating over here, this white group can be still attacked. It doesn't have 2 eyes yet. And this white group over here from the left side, this one is also not alive yet. So yeah, it didn't seem to be a good fight for white. So instead of blocking, oh, and of course I can also sacrifice this 1 stone. But this also didn't seem so good to me. So in the end I didn't block. But I jumped like this. And then black jumped. Oh, and then I came here. So this is a kind of thing that people can forget to play. So you see there was a weak point once on this F10. And then when you made the exchanges on E13 and G13, you thought you fixed it. But then what changed was that there is a black stone on H13. So let's say I jumped and then black pips and then you connect. And then now because there is a black stone over here, black can kinda pip like this and then I have to connect. And then now black can cut like this. Yeah, so these are the things that you kind of need to pay attention when you have a lot of jumps connections. So that's why I played here. And then black responded with this head bumping. And that was, I think that was a mistake. Maybe the first mistake that black made in this game. I can't see any other mistake yet. So I think black should have responded this way. Maybe black wanted to get a sente thinking when black plays here, white might connect and then black can tenuki. That could have been the idea. But the problem of this move was that white can kind of double hane here. So let's see, if black captures this 1 stone, then I can capture this 2 stone, which is quite big. I mean, it's not that big, it's probably about 10 points. But it's big in that it makes the white's group alive and then very strong. Also, it erased the black's territorial potential in that area. So what black gained is somewhat like the corner, like when black comes in, this can easily connect, but white can also go to the side. So the gain from here is not as big as it may look. So when I haned, black couldn't hane back, but hane the other side. But even after this exchange, the situation hasn't changed. Still, black cannot do this. And this one would be kind of painful for black. So black just continued on like this. But then when white extended here, the D10 is sente and then black's shape is somewhat weak. So this is really not a good situation for black. And also when I haned here, black had to connect on the first line, and that gave me the room to capture the 2 stones. So you see, if black takes here, then white connects, black connects, and then white attaris. Black already lost the 2 stones. This was pretty big loss for black, because with this capture, white's group is really strong, and black's group from the upper left side has no eye space. It kind of needs to be strengthened. And also the black group on the lower left side, it's pretty strong group, but then it still doesn't have 2 eyes. So in the future, there is a chance that white might be bullying the whole group. So overall, this loss of the 2 stones on the C line was pretty substantial, and that happened because black responded on C10 instead of C12. So let's see what happened in the actual game. Black came into the corner, and usually I would block from here, and then black would connect, and then I would come over here. And maybe this could have been still better, but in the actual game, I had this idea that this black group was not alive yet. So I wanted to have some room for attacking in the future. So that's why I responded this way, and then black played like this. So black's group is not connected to the corner yet. But black's corner has more territory. So that was a trade-off. And I had to go to the side. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about this game because I have some territory on the upper side and the lower side. And the group on the left side is very strong, and it has its own territory even because I captured the 3 stones. For black, black has a little bit of territory in the corner, but that's very few. And then there are 2 star points, which is worth something, but it's uncertain yet. So white's kind of secure territory versus black's potential of the 2 corners. And you know, when I said I wanted to have like a territory-oriented game, and I think this was like what I kind of wanted. So yeah, so that was that. And then black comes over here. I think because it's not small, it's pretty big, but it's not as big as like playing on R10 or maybe R7 like this. But I think black thought this was worth the turn right now, because if white takes the corner, then this whole black group over here, this one doesn't have the two eyes yet and can be kind of bullied later. Although if black played on r7, I wouldn't have played b3 right away, because when black comes around here, black's kind of creating very large moyo. So I'm not sure if this was the best timing, but this makes sense. This is good place to come, I guess. So black takes the corner, and then I approach, because it's almost sente, and then it can kind of reinforce my territory. And then black comes over here. I was expecting black to respond this way, and I'm still not sure if this was better, because when black came here, I came the other side. And then black comes over here and I connect. This is also sente. If black doesn't answer, that's a funny move. If black doesn't answer, white can hane here, and black has to hane, and then I can play here and then poke. This is very painful. So that's why black needs to do something. Black could come over here, but then I would just extend, and then there's some AGA with the r17. So I think that's why black hane the other side, even though that means sacrificing this one stone. So I cut and black connect. And many people, I think, would probably play here, feeling happy that they captured the black stone in net. But I want to point out that it's pretty nice if you make this exchange first, because it's very likely that this one point over here, O16, will become your point, and then you reduce the 1 point on Q17. So to compare, it's either this one or that one. It's a small difference, but if your game is really close with like half point situation, then it can matter, right? So black exchanges that, and then exchange that, and then come over here. So the game is like getting settled more and more. Black does have a little more territory now, because black got to play on b2, and black has some corner territory secured now on the upper right. And in the meantime, white maybe got a few more points, not much more, but white is much stronger. And then you can see that black's two stones on P13 and Q11 are also kind of weak and very close from white's strong wall. So at this point, what white needs to do is to use the strong position around like the upper half of the board, and then make sure that black doesn't get many points on the like lower right corner or the right side. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. And at this point, what I wanted to do first was to attack the black group on the upper left side around here. And then while I'm attacking, I'm not trying to kill it, but I want to kind of get out over here from the center, and then kind of gradually erase black's moyo around here, and then invade. So that's the plan. And then I start from here. It seems like I'm playing out of nowhere, but it's actually the plan. And then you see black kind of has to leave, because now black's kind of in the white's influence area. So black cuts. And here I was thinking about extending here, but then like I thought black will probably come around here and then make some eye space. So I really wanted to get this pip in sente. And then the question was, is it like how good is it that black can Atari here before taking the one stone? And then when I thought about it, maybe it doesn't help that much, because when I push here, if black just comes out, I can still get this one in center and then keep pushing. And in the beginning, my goal was to kind of naturally get out into black's area, and that's what is happening. So I thought maybe that's okay. So this is the actual game, and black didn't extend, but Haned here first. And then since I had no reason to cut right away, I just came here first. Oh, and then one other idea was that maybe in the future I can get this Atari in center instead of cutting the black group over here, force black to connect, and then maybe attack these two stones. So that was another idea. But I came here first and then came over here. Black could come over here also, and then my plan was to play something like this and then go like that. Yes, and then maybe jump around here. And I think that will lead to an end game. Now black has the territory here and this corner and this and that. White has the upper side and the lower side, some in the left and then a little bit on the lower right. And my guess was that I will probably be ahead by a little bit, mostly thanks to Komi, which is 7.5 points. No, actually it could be 6.5. I think we played in the AGA rule, which can be either 6 or 7.5, depending on whether you play the last move, last tame. Yeah, you probably know the AGA rule if you're watching my video. So anyway, black decided to secure the corner instead, and then I play here, and then black jumps, and now I'm attacking the black group, but I'm not committed to kind of go really after it to kill it, because I'm thinking I'm ahead, I don't have to kill it. When you try to kill something, you're kind of making a big risk, because oftentimes when you fail to kill it, the after position is often not really good. So we continue on like this, and I am counting territories at this point, of course, and then feeling kind of comfortable, because I thought I was ahead at least 5 points after Komi. So the reason I'm doing all this is because if I don't, I thought maybe black would come around here and try to make something happen. So I make all this sente, and then that's another sente because black's group is not alive yet. And then I capture here. And when I captured this one stone, I was pretty sure that I was going to win this game, because there is no other weak points of white and not a lot of big endgame moves. So yeah. There were several more moves, but yeah, after a few moves, black resigned. We didn't go to scoring. Yeah, at this point, black resigned. So that was the game. I was kind of happy with this game because I had a kind of game I wanted to play in the beginning, and then I felt like I succeeded in making that kind of game I wanted. And then after that, I had kind of planned how I could make this game into win, and that worked. It worked really well as I planned. So yeah, I think that's what I think about this game. So our team, Bay Area, won another round against the Boston team. So we have 4 wins. I saw New York team also has 4 wins. So I think we are kind of in tie. Actually, New York team has 1 more win point, so they are ahead. But in the big picture, we are tie because we both have 4 wins. And I think we are playing New York team the last round. So anyway, so that was the game, the 4th round. I hope this was interesting. If you are interested in like other AGA City League game, you can find more information on the website. You can search PandaNet AGA City League, or I can also have the link in my video description. So maybe I'll do that. So that was the game. Oh, and some of you may have seen from the news that I played in the Juju Cup. That's an annual Go tournament in San Francisco. They are often in either January or February, and then I played this year. The first time I played in that tournament was in 2018, and then last year I missed it because I was out of town. And this year I was able to play again, and then I won the tournament. Luckily, I had a really tough game. And after that tournament, I recorded all 4 games in SGF, so I have them. I was going to make a review video of it like the last time I did in 2018. And I could still do that, I just didn't find the time yet. Okay, so that's it. And for sure, I will have review video for the next round, or maybe some other videos if I manage to make them. So that's it, and I hope it was an interesting review, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.